I'm going to talk about from couch to cart. So TV used to be the start of the funnel. Today, it's the spark that can become a sale in 90 seconds, but only if your retail data is ready to catch it. So like John said, I'm not from a media background, actually. I've only been in media agency now for the last 7 years. Before that, I used to work for Hasbro. And I used to be in a commercial role selling toys to e-commerce companies, mainly Amazon, across Europe. And that was over 100 million in toy sales at a trade level every year. So I'm very much based in sales outcomes and business outcomes. And I've brought that experience to my roles within the media landscape. I also chair IAB Europe's Retail and Commerce Media Committee, and doing a lot of work in terms of how we drive the industry forward in relation to standardization for retail and commerce media. And what I do at WPP is I connect our commerce solutions to commerce outcomes. And I'm going to talk about that as we go through the presentation. So the consumer journey has evolved. We all know that. Consumers are open to product discovery absolutely anywhere. And conversion now happens very, very fast. I was with our partners, Criteo. They did some research. They were saying that mostly consumers research between 2 and 3 different sites before making a purchase decision. I'm going to get into a little bit more detail around how CTV plays into this in a little while. But because of this, I'm saying in this new world where conversion can happen anywhere, the purchase funnel is effectively dead. Attention, curiosity, and purchase, they happen in bursts now, not stages. And our job, or my job, isn't to help move consumers down a funnel anymore. It's to make conversion possible at every moment of intent. And having spoken to several clients, I know that that's a big priority for them. So I did mention this yesterday. We had a big conference at our offices yesterday. And it did cause a bit of uproar when I said that the purchase funnel is dead. I think some people took it the wrong way. What I'm absolutely not saying is that brand advertising is dead. I'm one of the biggest advocates for brand advertising, but I just hate the use of purchase funnel. You'll never hear me refer to it when I'm talking business. I talk about brand advertising generating demand. And I talk about other formats that can harvest that demand. I prefer to frame it that way. So we'll just go into a bit of just a very simple example. So my mate George, he sees a coffee machine on connected TV. He clicks the add to basket link within the ad. And then he can actually purchase it. So the emotional spark came from TV. The sale was caught by e-commerce. And this can happen in minutes, not days, not weeks. So it's about making sure that there's always that opportunity to create a sale. And I'm not saying that every advert on CTV needs to drive a sale. That's absolutely not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we should at least offer consumers the opportunity that are connected digitally to be able to do it if they want to. And I think that's really, really important. So CTV is absolutely great at generating demand. And like I said, that's the way I like to frame it. You have sight, sound, context. That drives desire, memory, action. The story and the context, they build that desire. The trust in larger screens, that they create I want this moments. I'm sure there's been a lot of chat about, dual screen behavior. 86% of people use a second device while watching TV. That's according to Global Web Index. 28% of these second screeners, they're looking for products to buy. That's really, really important. So adding these light prompts, I've got a QR code on the image. It doesn't need to be a QR code. It could be just, a link, a click. We've seen lots of these, but what we're offering is we're shortening that leap to action. And that's what's really, really important about this. But the power of commerce data is that we are actually generating demand that can convert. And that's really, really important. I use my wife as an example because I had a cat on the last slide. She absolutely loves cats, but we don't own a cat. So say, for example, that was an advert for cat food. I'm sure that would generate a load of attention, a big emotional response, a load of demand, but that demand is never going to convert. So we can use retail data to, design audiences using those commerce signals. Were they buyers of the product? Were they lapsed buyers of your brand? Are they in market, but they're switching brands? This is really, really important stuff that we can use to then tailor the advertising response around that. And this is also coupled with privacy-safe data matching with clean rooms between platforms. We can also then link the on-site conversion linkage if they bought, via an e-commerce site, or have a loyalty scheme, loyalty card, for example. We can connect all of those dots. So I think I say here because desire without design is waste, and we obviously don't want to waste impressions. So moving from couch to cart is about connecting the dots, and I've said that a lot. I've also said a lot that we need to plan for bursts, not stages. I'm going to go into our first case study now with Walmart. It's a great example of connecting the dots. So what's really powerful about this case study is that it doesn't relate to a single campaign. It actually relates to 15 months worth of campaign data from WPP Media that was analyzed. And this was on Walmart Connect, on their CTV formats and on their sponsored search formats. And what we learned from this analysis is that CTV advertising on its own is effective for driving sales. So we got plus 11% sales uplift from new buyers and plus 3% from existing buyers. But the real magic happens when you combine the CTV with sponsored search. And we got a big, big uplift when they were combined. So 34% sales uplift from new customers and plus 26% from existing customers. And this is where we compared non-exposed customers and exposed to media customers. So this is just an absolutely great case study from over in the US, obviously using a big retailer in their retail media network, Walmart, but connecting the dots, combining those formats in order to drive better outcomes, accelerate sales, accelerate business outcomes. So like I said, whilst my expertise is in commerce, and I think I'm quite rare because there's always a bit of needle between guys who do sort of commerce and retail media, and then the brand guys who maybe more involved in TV. I actually love brand advertising. We all know we wouldn't be in this room if we didn't know that brand advertising impacts sales in a positive way. It drives sales. I think the problem is we've never really been able to measure it accurately, and it's quite often a longer term effect of building that brand salience that drives sales downstream. But I'm going to play a video case study now that shows how we at WPP Media measured the immediate sales impact of a brand campaign. And that's very, very important. This wasn't any kind of retail media campaign. This was a pure brand media on a brand channel.
Weetabix wanted to prove the ROI of an advanced TV campaign targeting an affluent 45-plus audience. Traditional media measurement couldn't connect ATV exposure to in-store sales, so they sought an innovative solution to accurately demonstrate ATV impact on real-world sales. Mindshare partnered with WPP Media and Data Orbis using retailer analytics to map households to store catchment areas. They employed WPP Media's GeoLift causal inference tool to compare sales in treated and control areas, isolating incremental sales lift. Store sales dominate cereal sales at 85.5% share in the UK. Weetabix is the leading cereal brand in the UK, but their market share is constantly under threat from competitors. Measurement, to link media back to sales impact, is essential to power strategies to help stay on top. WPP Media's solution leverages retailer store-level analytics for measurement to provide the media-driven growth strategies for the future. Planning and executing to the media brief, WPP Media were able to deliver direct campaign ROI and incremental sales measurement.
Cool. I love that. I love that case. I love that case study. So this was done with no mid-flight optimization. It was a pure exercise in more sophisticated business outcome measurement. And those numbers might look small, 1.8%, 1.6%, but that's sales uplift. So it's incremental sales that would not have happened without that media exposure. And that actually related to about £500,000 worth in sales across those retailers. So how to win? Plan for bursts, not stages. We definitely need to, like I said, craft the audiences. From a budget perspective, really upweight any on-site retail media like sponsored search when you're going big on CTV to really harvest those sales. Be distinctive with the creative, the brand cues on CTV, and then the value benefit driven clarity on the retail media formats. Matching data between parties is really essential for this approach. It obviously needs to be handled with the utmost care with privacy regulations. So solutions that enhance privacy are the most desirable. We've got a great example here, which I'm sure many of you would have already seen, of InfoSum working with Channel 4 and Nectar 360 data. And that was to effectively match the audiences between platforms without the data ever moving or ever being shared. And that's the privacy enhancing features of InfoSum. So brands could choose from 80 plus Nectar shopper segments. We then activated media on Channel 4. This was over 4 weeks. And we drove 29% uplift in the sales of the primary product. The maximum uplift we got was 122%, and we got an 8% uplift in the overall portfolio of products. So it's a great example of using data privacy enhancing data collaboration platforms in order to drive outcomes. So brands want business outcomes. We've seen the Walmart example. We've seen the Weetabix example. Both of these case studies show data comparison between media exposed groups and non-exposed groups. And this is the approach that can be used strategically to prove value. I'm not saying it should be used for every single campaign, but do it to prove an approach, and then you can replicate and scale that approach. From a creative perspective, remember when I showed the George and the coffee machine? I'm not influenced by brand advertising at all when I think of a suave guy called George, when I think of a coffee machine. But yeah, we are looking here at the see, seek, buy model. Strong CTV execution is not just about the creative story. Think of it as a commerce opportunity as well as a brand salience vehicle. So the CTV ads build the demand, and then you can harvest that demand by integrating commerce capability. And that's it. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn via the code. I will leave you with this. Pair CTV with retail data and commerce to make every screen a store. Thank you so much.